Beloved, welcome back to the next episode of Building a Timber Frame Woodshed. Today we're going to be doing the knee braces. Now, everything in this project is fluid, meaning you have your ideas, you make your plans, how things are going to be, and sometimes when you're in the midst of it, you decide that what you planned originally, well, it doesn't look good at all, and you need to be able to make changes. So that's what's going to be happening today. Let me show you what I'm talking about, show you what a knee brace is, why they're so important, and then we'll get started and get all of them installed today, Lord willing. This member right here, as you probably already know, is called a knee brace. Knee braces were used in traditional construction before the advent of sheet goods or plywood to give a structure what we call shear. Now this frame with these big timbers is incredibly strong up and down, snow load for example, but you get pushing side left and right, there's very little strength in these joints and it will easily crumble and fall over. That's where the knee braces come in. These were installed on anything that needed to stand and really required would get a lot of abuse. For example, ships, shipwrights and the old wooden sailing ships would have extensively used knee braces for that rigidity, for that strength. Since we're not using plywood on here, this is going to be a necessity. Now I was originally thinking this can be kind of a nice design element where you can do something a little bit creative, and I was going to do some radiuses and things. And the more I've designed and the more I tried different things, and you can see here for yourself, the less happy I was with it. I'm not trying to build a dollhouse here, and this is just a little bit too cutesy, and it's just not my style, it's not my aesthetic. I like the traditional Craftsman style. I want to build something that looks like it's going to be strong, like an old-fashioned railroad trestle. And the more I played around with these and the more I tried to make it work, the more I didn't like it, and I decided just to go with a good heavy-duty 2-foot long, what's it, 4x6? 4x6 full dimension knee braces, and I think it looks good. Let me show you kind of the contrast over here. This will better demonstrate kind of what I'm talking about. I spent all morning trying different shapes and sizes. I used Sweet Loaf's hula hoop to get radiuses, and no matter what I did or how I put it, it just didn't look right. I was unhappy with it. I couldn't make it work, and that's kind of why I went back just to the tried and true, a true 45. Not to mention the original knee braces were only 2x material, so kind of thin, and I like the look of the big heavy duty knee braces. So these are out and the 45s are in. This right here was the original material for the knee braces, the 2x8 full dimension that I had milled. You can kind of see the contrast between the two. There just is no comparison. This aesthetically to me just looked too spindly, too small, and it was just too weak for the strong stance of the structure. So that's why I decided to go, I had a little bit of extra, enough extra of this here. I decided to go with these, and that's what we're gonna do. This is actually going to work out pretty good because I have some cut-off ends that are just the right length. I think I misspoke. These are not 4x6. These are 3.5x5 custom cut. These were left over from the Gerts, and I have one extra one here. So I need a total of 6, and that gives us plenty of material to get them cut out of. Three of these 3x5s are bespoke and they're going to be exposed, so we want to probably pick the worst one to cut our knee braces out of. Someone was asking about these cracks. They noticed some cracks in the corner post and thought that was a problem. That's not a problem. That's called checking and it's natural. It is not a problem. It doesn't affect the structure of it at all. It's just part of the drying process and part of the charm, in my opinion. Notice how the saw labors because this wood is just so hard. My goodness, that is really, really special. Beautiful. Here is a very clear distinction between old growth and new growth. Look at the spacing of the rings. Look how tight these are. This is probably, I don't know, 25, 30% heavier, just from picking, maybe 50% heavier by density. Just feels a lot more dense, super solid. Absolutely gorgeous. We'll put the nice side out. We've got a knot there. We'll put the knot to the inside. And to hold these in place until we get our timber screws ready, what I'll do is I'll square this. And I'll use a pin nailer to put 4 pins in just to hold it in place. We'll secure the knee braces with these 6-inch timber screws. We'll use 4, 2, and 2 to prevent any twisting. And if we put this up here about 3 inches, we want to push it up here until we get all of the teeth are biting into the post. We get maximum strength. These actually hold harder, tighter than the traditional lag screws do, and they're less prone to splitting. These are a great fastener. We'll use a Forstner bit to countersink these about a 1/2 inch. Then we'll pre-drill with a 1/4 inch bit just through the knee brace. I'm sure 1 screw would have been good, but doubling those up is really good. Very strong. Boy, those black screws look good, don't they? What a nice, clean look. Like little black polka dots on that red fur. Looks really pretty. Here's the northeast side. Big, strong knee braces. The proportion looks good to the frame. Very nice. All right, 2 down, 2 to go. We'll put the old growth, the Ancient of Days, right here in the most visible area. This is when your chickens come home to roost, gentlemen. Why it's so important to get everything plumb and level. It makes everything from here forward a breeze and a lot easier. There's no more base individual in the entire world than a concrete foundation guy who does sloppy work. He ruins, well, he just makes everyone's life, all the other trades, miserable in every step, especially the finished carpenter. God will judge the shoddy concrete worker more harshly than others, in my opinion. We'll be proactive this time with our clamp. I had to fool around with the adjustment on that quite a bit on that last one. Hopefully I've got enough timber screws. It'd be a good idea to have a selection of these 4s, 6s. That covers most things. Maybe some 3s on hand. They have 2 different heads. They have the hex head, then they have the Torx head. If they're going to be exposed, the Torx head looks a lot nicer than the hex head, in my opinion. We want this to be flush here, so keep an eye on that. See if that clamp does the trick of holding this in place. Tight. Excellent. Well, that's the trick. That solved that problem. Hit that thumbs up, gentlemen, and do take a moment to leave me a comment. These videos are not doing very well at all. It's a bit discouraging, but I know it's niche, it's not for everyone. But if you comment and show support, it encourages me to keep making them, and it will help. It'll show that guys like them. If you like it enough to comment on it, I think YouTube might push it out a little bit more. Takes a pretty powerful drill to get these guys in. Well, that went great. That went a whole lot easier than that last one. See, we're learning, gentlemen. We learn our lessons slow, but we do learn them eventually. Fun fact, if you wanted to, it would be entirely appropriate, it would work just as well to put the knee brace down here, or to put one up and one down. If you want to make it something that would survive a nuclear blast, you could do top and bottom. Not necessary, but we're going to just stick with the 2 on the top. But there's no right or wrong. What do you think, gentlemen? That looks great. Love the proportion, the simplicity, the sturdiness, the heft, the strength. Very happy. That's only half of the knee braces. There'll be 4 more running the other way, which will connect the beams, but we need to put the beams on, well, I'm guessing we'll probably put the beams on tomorrow. She's strong now. No more problem with shear. So tomorrow, We're going to do the biggest members, which will be the big beams that go on the top, one there and one there, and then we'll have knee braces that connect those as well, giving it double shear both directions. And we're going to do something really fancy, not really fancy, but some ornamental things on those. And getting those up there by myself is going to be a challenge. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do that. Might just have to man up and get a ladder and just pack them up there and sit them. But we'll have some notching to do. But I think we should be able to get those up tomorrow. Some folks were asking me in the comments or taking me to task, this is not saying this is not true timber framing. True timber framing, you would be mortise and tenon, meaning you wouldn't be using the screws. You would be using wooden pegs. I have done that. I built an entire cabin doing that. I know what's involved in it, and it's a tremendous amount of work. And to be honest, it's cooler. No question, it's cooler. I do very much like it, but I wouldn't be able to get it done. It would take me all winter. I'm not super fast at it. I don't have the mortising tools. I have to do everything by hand, and I know what it takes, and it's a tremendous effort. So if you want to do that, you go right ahead and do it. I encourage you. It's a great experience, but a very difficult experience. This is just as strong, just as cool in my opinion. It's a hybrid, kind of a cross between the old and the new. I wasn't trying to misinterpret, wasn't trying to represent something that it wasn't. I was always intending and putting it together with timber screws, and it's just, this is approachable. This is something I think most guys can do, whereas mortise and tenon, that's not for everyone. It's a lot of work and very, very difficult. I guess that's it. May God bless you. Please keep us in your prayers. Subscribe. Join us tomorrow. Hopefully, Lord willing, we'll get those beams set, and then everything will be tied together and we'll really be cooking. Keep us in your prayers. We'll see you guys on the next video.